Yo, I just want to remind you that you're gonna crush it today.
Yo, welcome back to the lab. I'm your host, Elias Benjaloon. Join me as we dive into the science behind the hustle of badass entrepreneurs working smarter, not just harder. In every experiment, we're gonna dive in on business tactics and life lessons, enjoy some hip hop, and experience a moment of gratitude. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's win this digital revolution together. As always, we're gonna kick things off with some dope music, so I'll see you in there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hustle Science Experiment. Today in the lab, I've got the guy who's taken on the public image of the Dad Bod. His name is Jason Priest, and he's the founder of, what is your website, Jason?
It's Dad Bod Health.
Awesome, dadbodhealth.com. Man, it is a pleasure to talk to you. You're the first fitness guy we're having on the show, so I'm super excited to be able to share this conversation with our audience. You know, I always ask this question to everybody: what got you here in the first place? What kickstarted your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, man. So first of all, a huge thank you for having me on the show. And, you know, my goal is to add as much value as I possibly can to your audience. So thank you again. And to answer your question, you know, I actually was having a conversation with somebody earlier about this, man. The entire reason that I started my business was pure fulfillment. So I was working in the corporate world like many people do prior to becoming a business owner or launching their business. And I'm what I consider a late blooming entrepreneur. So I'll turn 40 this year. And those stories about, you know, the KFC guy, the McDonald's guy, those are all very inspiring. But I firmly believe that we're all on our own individual journey. You know as well as I do that self-comparison, comparing yourself to others, is the biggest thief of joy. Yeah. And so I don't look at it like that. Me, in my own journey, is that I know the value that I can add to the world. I know the amount of people that I can help is 1,000 times, maybe even 10,000 times more by doing my own thing versus working for somebody else. Being able to leverage social media, being able to get my message out to the world is very important to me. And so working for somebody else in the corporate world was very unfulfilling. I was doing what I loved, but I wasn't able to leave the impact that I intend to leave before I leave this planet Earth. And so I remember very vividly sitting at the table with my wife one night at dinner and just putting my head into my hands and just losing it. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I have to add more value to the world. I am completely unfulfilled. And if I don't make this change, I'm going to have nothing but regret and nothing but misery in terms of the impact that I'm able to leave. And so that was it, man, like pure fulfillment for me. And being able to add that value to the world is extremely important to me. And that's what fuels my fire every single day, helping to change the lives of others and helping to be able to give them the stepping stones to live a healthier life. That's why I wake up every day, man.
That's incredible, man. I love that. How long ago was that experience for you?
Yeah, so we are. I'm less than a year. Like this August, I believe. If I had to pin it to a date, I want to say last August was when I officially formed the LLC, or shortly after that. So I'm less than a year into the business, but it's going very well. And, you know, it's all about credibility for me. Like I show up every single day. I'm consistent with my content. I'm consistent on all social media platforms. And I'm just, my whole goal is to give as much free value as I possibly can. And so having others know that I'm a trusted source and that they can come to me for questions, because just so you know, and so your listeners know, I'm a registered nurse, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a health coach, I'm a fitness nutrition specialist, yada, yada, yada. So the credentials are all there. But being somebody that's vulnerable on social media, being somebody that's been there and done that when it comes to my own transformation, having the history that I do with, you know, I have a very checkered past. I grew up in a single parent household. I have a drug history back in my teens. And so I've battled through a lot of challenges and struggles that have gotten me to where I am today. and being vulnerable, but also being the guy that's not afraid to say, look, I don't have the answer to your question, but I'm going to get you the answer to your question. People love that, man. And people love honesty and trustworthiness. And that's who I am and what I stand for.
Awesome, man. I love it. And I'm super excited to like get some jam-packed value out of you today in the fitness space, man. Like, you know, the business, we're going to dive into this business lesson today, or like, you know, this tactic that can help all of us listening grow and become better. You know, and I want to just preface this with my story, man, of like having, you know, reached my peak of like after graduating college, just constantly gaining weight till like last July after my wedding, I was 220 pounds and I was like, holy fuck, this is too much. Like, what happened? Like, why did I stop going to the gym? Why did I stop running? And I just started like putting on sweats and going to run every single day, started hitting the gym, took it more seriously with the keto diet and intermittent fasting. And now I'm 175 and I'm still working on my health and working on getting it to a better place than where it's at right now. So I think this is super incredibly important because I feel like a lot of people listening are all about that grind, all about that hustle. This is hustle science, and absolutely you gotta fucking hustle, do what you gotta do, but don't neglect your health. And I'm excited to like open the floor to you, man, to give us that lesson. Where do you think we should start?
Yeah. So, you know, and I know we talked a little bit before the show started, and to be honest with you, man, like, for the people that are listening out there, and I know you told me that you have some younger listeners too. And so I think it's very important. And as I mentioned, you know, I turned 40 this year. And so I am a late blooming entrepreneur, and it is all about the hustle and it is all about the grind. If you're going to build your empire brick by brick, you got to show up every damn day. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, at the end of the day, you need to be present every single day. And in order to do that, you've got to realize that health is wealth. If you're going to convince yourself that you're going to build an empire and then you're going to address your health, you've got some scary news coming for you, because like you even experienced yourself, it didn't take long for you to balloon up to your heaviest weight ever. And you had to look in the mirror and be like, what the fuck happened, right? Like, you don't want that to happen. And so I think for anybody that's listening now who is currently not prioritizing their health and they're all about business, I highly encourage you to do some soul searching and realign your priorities, because if you don't, you're going to pay the price. And the last thing that you want to do is build this empire, and 15, 20 years, 30 years down the road, when you have built your empire, then you have to turn around and give it all back to doctors and hospitals and insurance companies because your health is now declining. And so I'll tell you this, in my experience, and I spent 6 years working in an ICU. I pumped on the chest of some very young people who chose to neglect or procrastinate with their health for way too long. I'm talking about people in their mid to late 30s and early 40s. I vividly remember doing CPR on men and women that were super young. And it doesn't take a lot of extra weight to put yourself at risk for heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 leading cause of death in our country. And I'm going to tell you right now, as you know, my company's name is Dad Bod Health for a reason, is that this whole softening stance on the dad bod and the fact that society is almost embracing it and calling it a cute and cuddly trend almost. Like you see these studies coming out where women are saying they prefer the guy with the dad bod. Let's be honest, like, they prefer the guy with the dad bod because that makes them feel more secure about themselves. No man or woman is going to say that they truly prefer a person who is not their healthiest. And we know that if you have any extra weight, and I'm not telling you that everybody needs to be shredded. That's not what I'm saying here. But if you don't have a standard in your own life to try to become the healthiest version of yourself, then you've got scary news coming for you. And that's what I really want to bring to your listeners is knowing that, look, yes, it's about the grind. And yes, you need to put in the work every damn day. But if you don't make your health a priority, and you don't need to be in the gym for hours at a time. My clients are in and out of the gym in under an hour, and that's one of my core values. But I've done a couple of interviews over the last week or so with some pretty high level people who have told me that their fitness routine consists of a 15 to 20 minute workout a day. So if your excuse is, I don't have the time, you better make the fucking time, or you're going to have a rude wake up call, and it might be too late when that wake up call happens.
Right. No, there's always the time to
Yes.
put in a set and get swole a little bit. Like, push-ups, jumping jacks, go for a run. Like, you can do, even if you're just working out in the gym for 15 minutes, if that's all you can do, that's better than not going. It's way better.
Absolutely, man. I will tell you right now that one of the things that I do consistently in my life in terms of my fitness, I lift heavy, but I also do a couple different kinds of cardio. But the reason I want to point this out is I firmly believe that one of the biggest successes in my life in terms of my own fitness, like I said, I'm almost 40. I'm in the best shape of my life. I would say my body fat percentage is it's certainly less than 10, around 9, 10-ish. So yes, six pack, yes, all that good stuff. But one of the main pieces of my fitness that has contributed to that is literally a 15-minute elliptical, high-intensity interval training session. And if anybody tells themselves they don't have the time, I'm telling you right now, if you added that to your life, you literally went from doing nothing to working up to being able to do 15 minutes of intervals twice a week on a cardio equipment, or maybe just 2 days of sprints outside. You do like 6 100-yard sprints. That one addition to your life, those 2 days of sprints or those 2 days of interval training in the gym, will be a complete game changer. You will lose weight. Obviously, the nutrition aspect is important too, but you will lose weight. You will feel better. And all I'm asking is that you dedicate 30 minutes of exercise a week to take yourself to the next level and get yourself feeling better. And that's what it's all about, is finding ways to incorporate this stuff into your life where it still fits, but it's not about finding the time. It's about making the time. There's not a single entrepreneur. There's not a single corporate level, blue level, white collar executive. Doesn't matter what it is. Nobody finds extra time. We're all busy. If you're going to be successful, just like with your business, you make the time.
Well, the cool thing, I hardcore believe in like how we can invest in time. Like so much so I have like a tattoo, that's like an hourglass to remind me like this is how I'm investing my time. I really feel like fitness is one of those investments with a fucking ROI on time.
Yes.
Right? Like you work out, you take care of your body, you can go for longer sprints at work, but also you're like hedging your bets at living a longer life and being able to be more productive for the long term. So I wouldn't even say like make the time because it's a cost in your life. Like it's an investment that you can be making to buy more time. And that's the only way you can ever do that is through fitness. And something I want to touch on that you brought up, which is really important to everybody listening, I think, is that like fitness is absolutely customized to you. You said like you're doing heavy lifting, you're getting shredded, like you're dedicated to that. Not everybody is able to like commit to that, whether it's for the passion or they just don't want to invest the time into that. But that's not what it takes to like go from a couch potato to like functioning human adult with like low body fat. Like you can do what you're just saying, like those runs, the elliptical, like different types of workouts, like, and then also diets aren't one size fits all. Is that something that you also like work with people on? Is like their diet and alcohol or cigarettes and stuff like that?
All of it, man. Yeah, I do. I run the whole gamut, to be honest with you. And I've been doing health coaching on its own for about 8 years now. And so I've worked with people that are trying to quit smoking. I've worked with people that are trying to reduce their drinking or cut out sugar. So nutrition is really where I'm most passionate about. The way that I look at it is this. Most people think that fitness is the hardest part. Fitness is the easiest part once you get the routine formed. The hardest part is the eating habits. No matter if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain muscle mass. There was a time in my life where I thought I wanted to do some bodybuilding or physique shows. I'm here to tell you that the workouts are the easy part. Forcing yourself to eat 6,000 calories of clean food a day is the hard part. And it goes both ways. So with people who are overweight, as long as you get the fitness aspect started and get it consistent and get that routine ingrained into your mind, then you don't need to focus on that as much. The most room for error comes with nutrition. And if we talk about most people eat, let's say most people eat 3 meals a day and maybe some 2 meals a day now in a day and age where we're busy, we're skipping breakfast, having this giant lunch and this giant dinner. And that's a terrible habit to be in. But let's say on average, most people eat 3 meals a day if they do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's 21 opportunities a week for you to take a few steps forward or take a few steps back. And when you break it down like that, there's no reason to overcomplicate the process. If you have, let's say if you have 17 or 18 meals a week that are very healthy and very nutritious, very nutrient dense, you have 2 to 3 meals a week, and I have 2 cheat meals a week religiously. You have 2 to 3 meals a week where that you don't have to worry about anything. It doesn't matter. You can go eat Mexican food. You can go eat pizza. You can go eat whatever the hell you want and not have to worry about that. And you got to get yourself to a point where your structure is like that in order to make yourself successful. Obviously, the less cheat meals, the better, but it doesn't have to be all or none. And when you talk about the word diet, I don't like that word because most times a diet has an end date. Like if you need to lose 40 pounds and you're going to go on a diet, what happens when you lose the 40 pounds? Then what do you do next? I like to just make it about living a healthier lifestyle, incorporating more nutrient dense meals into your life and cutting out more junk and just simplify the process.
Absolutely, man. I love that. Just on the note of the diet thing, I don't know if you saw, there's a Netflix special with Kanye West being interviewed. This is recent too, right? So like after all the crazy stuff. Sure. And they brought up the word diet and he was like, oh, I don't like that word because it has die in it. He calls it live it. But I think it speaks to the fact that it is a lifestyle choice, right? Like, one comment I just want to share, and I wonder if you feel the same way about it. Like when I started working out, just going with the runs, like my body craved the water and the healthier food.
Yes.
Like I like needed to stay away from the soda or the wine or the beer and just drink water and stay hydrated. And that's what ended up feeling good. So it made it easier too, just by starting to get in control.
To piggyback onto that, here's the thing. And most people don't realize how good their body is designed to feel. And when you start getting active and you start incorporating more nutrient dense foods into your life and nourishing your body the way that it's meant to, like I'll use this example. If you had a Lamborghini, you bought a brand new Lamborghini, are you going to go to the gas station and put 87 octane in it? Or are you going to put 93, right?
Yeah.
You're going to put the good shit in there, right? Your body is designed the same way. It is a very high-functioning machine, whether you believe it or not. Everybody's body is a little bit different. Everybody's metabolism is a little bit different. But when you truly think about it, if you are feeding and fueling your body with the things that it truly needs, you will feel 1,000 times better than you currently think that you can feel if you're eating like crap and you're not active. And you experienced it, which is awesome.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for that like hardcore, hard-hitting lesson, the first fitness one of its kind here on Hustle Science. I really hope everybody takes home this lesson hard because it is so important to longevity and every other aspect in life. So to move forward, bro, we're going to do this moment of gratitude exactly for the reason that you brought up today earlier. Like some people are looking out on the outside to get that external validation. They're trying to compare to other people and like, it just takes away from the joy that you have in your life when there's so many things that you can be grateful for right now, everybody that's listening. So every episode we do this, bro. What is something that you're particularly grateful for today?
I will tell you, and I want to add a little bit to the intro into this gratitude stuff, that gratitude is a huge part of my life, and it has only become that way over the last, let's call it 3 months. I overhauled my morning routine, and gratitude is a major part of my life now, and it has completely changed my life for the exact reasons that you mentioned. So my mentor says that, if you're, and he's a highly successful, multiple 7-figure businesses, the dude does very well. And he says that if you're not grateful for what you have now, you'll never be grateful for what you build later on. And so if you're working on building an empire and you can't be grateful for what you have today, then money is not going to bring you happiness. Happiness comes from within. And the more that we practice gratitude, the more grateful for what we are for what we have now, the happier your life is going to be. And I firmly believe that. So to answer your question, one of the things, clearly the things that go to my gratitude journal often are my health, my family's health. I have a 4-year-old son. He's in great health. My wife is in very good health. So I'm very grateful for having my family's health. But if I had to name one thing for your audience, to be honest with you, man, the thing that I am most grateful for today is the ability to serve others at the level that I do in order to help them change their own lives. That makes me so fulfilled and also makes me extremely grateful to have that opportunity. When people trust me with their health, I take it very serious, and I'm very grateful for them doing that because I know that I can help them get to the next level with their health.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for that moment of gratitude. You know, I share a different one every single episode. So I've kind of gone through the whole list. Today, one of the things I'm grateful for is I'm in Hawaii. This is like my fourth time being here. My wife's Hawaiian. So like just grateful to be here and be with her family and be able to spend this quality time together that we only get like once a year on average.
It's so huge, man. It's so huge. And, you know, it's funny you say that because I don't remember what episode it was, but I was listening to, I believe it was Ed Milet who was talking about it. And it's like when you start to do the math and break down, and I know that I think Jesse Itzler talks about this as well. When you do the math and you start to break down how many times you actually get to be with family, like with your wife's family, you said it's once a year. Do the math over the span of your life. And if you're not present in the moment with your family and your wife's family now that you only get to see once a year, like you need to do some soul searching because those times are going to be gone. And when you look back 10 and 20 years from now and you don't realize that you weren't grateful for those moments, it's going to be nothing but regret, right? Like you have to be grateful for these times.
Absolutely, man. 100%. And man, this is perfect. This leads into the life lesson, which is about a balanced life. You know, sometimes people, whether it's their work or their school or their business or whatever it is, like partying too much, like, you know, an unbalanced life is just ultimately, I think, is destructive. So how about you share, you know, what are your thoughts on that? And, you know, what is like a traditional transformation you see when you're working with somebody, like from living an unbalanced life, what they may be doing to making that transformation to a balanced life and how different that is?
Sure. So I love your theory on balance, and mine is a bit different. And I'll just tell you that when it comes to living a balanced lifestyle, it can be viewed in a couple different ways. And I think that you have to view it in both ways, especially as an entrepreneur, because here's the thing. We may never truly gain balance in our life as entrepreneurs because we dedicate so much time to our craft, right? So if you really want to talk about balance, if you're dedicating, you mentioned some 16-hour days. As entrepreneurs, most of us are putting in 10 plus hour days, right? There's days where you do 12, 14, 16, maybe there's days a little less. But there's a large portion of your day that is spent on building your business and doing the things that you need to do to build your empire. So you may never really truly establish balance, but when you take a step back and you start thinking about being present in the moment when these times, these opportunities present themselves. So for balance for you, you're with your wife's family right now. It's very important that you're present in the moment when you're there. It's very important that you're present in the moment when you go out to eat with your wife. If you guys go on a date and you're both looking at your damn cell phones the whole time, you're not present in the moment, and that's not really a date. You could have done that shit on the couch, right? Yeah. So I look at balance a little bit different, and when you take a step back and you think about it like that, as entrepreneurs, we're so grind and hustle driven that you need to open up your mind a little bit more and think about, how can I do my best to be present in the moment anytime? Like, I have a 4-year-old son. Last thing I need to be doing in the evening when it's family time is sitting there on my phone working on business stuff. Until he goes to bed, I try to commit that time to him, and then I'm back to business. And so that's my theory on the balance. But to your point, here's the thing. And I know we talked about this a little bit before the show, but you know, this is what I like to tell people, especially when it comes to health and fitness, is that health is wealth. And until you buy into that, you're going to struggle. Once you realize that investing in your health is your number one priority, the rest will take care of itself as long as you're driven to make your business successful. And so health needs to be priority number one. Without it, you have nothing. With it, you have hope. With hope, you have everything. So in saying that, I like to tell people this. Life is going to be hard regardless, right? You can choose. You need to choose your hard wisely. I was the fat guy for a while. I got up to 232 pounds. I'm 5'10". I'm now 172 pounds and I'm still 5'10". So 60 pounds lighter. I can tell you from experience that both lives are hard. The fat life is hard and the fit life is hard. You must choose your hard wisely. And if you choose the fat life, you're going to end up giving all of your fortune, your wealth, whatever you want to call it, back to doctors and hospitals eventually. You're going to be on medications. You're going to end up with diabetes. You're going to end up with high blood pressure. You're going to end up with all these conditions that usually once they happen, the damage is done to an extent where you might be able to get off some of your meds, but there's enough damage done where you're going to be on those and now your life has changed. You're now reliant on a medication to do the dirty work for you when you could have been proactive about your health and avoided the medications altogether to give yourself longevity, but also quality of life. I'm not all about quantity. It needs to be about quality of life too. So the fit life is a very hard life to live too. I mean, like, people think that my life is easy because I have a six pack. It's not, man. Like, going to the gym every day or 5 times a week and eating healthy all the time is a hard life to live.
Yeah,
so
man. And then you gotta like not go to the McDonald's drive-through or
right,
like, or just whatever it is. Like, I don't know if you do keto. You know, what kind of diet do you prescribe to?
Yeah,
or live it?
My I don't have a set diet per se, but if I had to describe it to you, I would say it's a high protein, high healthy fat, and more of a moderate amount of carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates that I include in my life are usually sweet potatoes, black rice, quinoa, whole grain and whole wheat products, those kinds of things. But I usually have those twice a day. So that would be like with my lunch and my dinner. I start the day with a very high protein, high healthy fat, tons of nuts, tons of avocados, salmon, I'll tell you the biggest game changer for me in the nutrition department was when I started eating a lot more healthy fats. Most people don't eat enough healthy fats, and I feel like the more healthy fats that I eat, the leaner that I get.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that you're balancing carbs with the fat diet too, with fat and everything. I want to just share another comment, which was on being present, man. Like, that definitely hit hard. It's a lesson that I feel like I learned this year, and the importance of like being present in every moment, present in this podcast interview, present like when there are problems to be addressed, present when we're with family, present when we need to take care of our health. Like, you just have to be present all the time. And if you're not present, then you're not living life. And yeah, it is. Because then also when you realize that all you have to do is be 100% present on one of those things at a time, you know, as opposed to trying to be distracted and be like, okay, responding to a client, taking care of like the attention that people need around you, doing whatever it is, as opposed to, you know, this is the time that I'm going to dedicate completely to responding to people. This is time I'm going to dedicate to hitting the gym. This is time I'm going to dedicate to my family. That is super powerful.
When I started to realize that the more that I was on my cell phone in front of my son, that I would almost think that whatever is in that screen in his mind was more important than him.
Right.
It really started to hit home with me. And so I try when it's family time. Now, I'm not going to say I'm never on my phone in front of my son, but in the evenings when we're winding down and it's dinner time and then we play like a few games with him before he goes to bed, cell phone is out of sight, out of mind. Like, I want him to know that when it's our time, it's daddy and Blake time, or when mommy's in the room too, like, it's family time. What is in that cell phone can wait, because it is certainly not more important than what is taking part in that moment.
It comes down to your why. You know, like, if your 100%. Why is money, then go out and make money, and you're not going to do it. Like, you're going to struggle with it. Like, it's not going to bring you the fulfillment. Like, you're going to make decisions based off of it, which will be wrong decisions. But if your why is family, and if your why is like you want to live a life where you make an impact on others, which what it comes down to, I find, is like the really badass entrepreneurs that I look up to that like are really crushing it. They are driven by a why to make a positive impact in their life in any way, like in their family and in their community and like in the world in general. Like, that's what they're driven by, you know? So like, if you're driven by that truly, then, I feel like what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs, and was a victim of this too, is like that ding is associated with like, oh shit, lead or client or whatever,
Yes.
and like, then I get that, like, you get that that positive reinforcement. Like there's actually things happening in your brain that make you addicted to being responsive to that notification. I noticed one time, like whenever I get a notification, I'll be like, oh, got it. Whatever I'm doing, like it could be
Yes.
writing an email, it could be talking to somebody, it could be being with my wife. Notification comes in, I got to check it out now. Notification comes in, and if I'm doing something else, it's like, okay, notification came in. Great. Let me finish what I'm doing right now, be present in this moment that I'm executing, and then I'll deal with that when I have the moment to deal with that.
Yeah, and I love that, man. And to be honest with you, it's really about realizing that when you get that notification, is that lead going to change their mind based on a 30-minute or a 1-hour delay in your response? Like, fucking get real.
Right. If they do, then
they
you
want
shouldn't
that
be
to
doing
be.
business with them.
Right.
They're going to be a
If somebody
heartache.
reaches out to me because they trust me and they know, like, they've been following my content. Let's say they've consumed my content for 6 months. They reach out and they message me, and I don't get back to them for a couple of hours versus immediate response. How does that change the progression of our relationship? Then zero.
No, it
Like you
doesn't.
said, you don't need to be working with them anyway if a 5-minute or a 30-minute or a 1-hour delay changes their mind about doing business with you. It was never meant to be.
Yeah,
So when you
absolutely.
start embracing that and you realize that, okay, my life and being proactive instead of reactive will make me a happier person and a more fulfilled person because I can be present in the moment. In the beginning, man, I was the same way. I'm constantly checking DMs and checking emails, and that nonsense can wait, man. And when you take control of your life, take control of your health, you take control of your business, the landscape just completely changes.
Absolutely, man. Jason, this has been such a value-packed episode. I'm sure everybody listening has gotten tons of value. Like, this is such a secret weapon that everybody needs to take and, like, consume, hold it dear to their heart from now on, and, like, take care of their fucking health so that they can crush it in every other aspect of their life. Bro, how can people get in touch with you? How can they follow you? How can they work with you? This is your moment to plug.
Hey, yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you for having me on. First of all, again, a very big thank you for that. My whole sole purpose is to add as much value as I can to the world. So, like you said in the beginning, my website is just dadbodhealth.com. But where people can actually connect with me, Facebook is a good place and Instagram is a good place. So on Facebook, it's Jason Priest. I'm the dude in the green shirt. You won't miss me. I'm very active on Facebook. And so come connect with me there. Instagram is at Dad Bod Health. If you're going to follow me anywhere and you want actual value to see kind of what I'm doing in my own life in terms of fitness and nutrition, I do a lot of stories on nutrition. I do a lot of stories on fitness, and it's at Dad Bod Health there. I'm starting to put my own podcast videos on my page. And this is a good thing about my page is that I literally post every single dinner. That's 99% of the time. That's the only time that I'll have a cheat meal. So generally speaking, my cheat meal comes at dinner. I post every single dinner that I eat. And if you go look at the pattern, it's almost a science that you can tell 2 of my meals every single week are cheat meals, and the rest are super healthy, nutrient-dense foods. So that would be a great place to connect. And then the last thing is I do have a men's community that is really starting to build, and it's an amazing place. Dude, for $9.97 a month, you get access to my fitness app. You get access to this private accountability group. In the group, in the files section of the group, there is loaded with custom meal plans, stress management resources. I send out a weekly newsletter with healthy recipes, some mindset stuff, up-to-date men's health information. It's all value for $9.97 a month.
Insane.
And that's just themanupcommunity.com.
Manupcommunity.com, man. I'm going to have to.
Themanupcommunity.com.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, man. It's a great, the dudes, I've already had a guy come in there. This is only fairly new. This is let's call it 2 months old. A dude came in there, has already quit smoking because of the accountability from the people in the group. There's been guys in there adding size to their biceps. There's been guys shrinking their guts. It's just a great place because there's no better place than community, as you well know, to get that, you know, that feeling of self-worth. When you've got other people cheering you on and other people are posting their wins and their losses, it connects you on a much deeper level.
Absolutely, man. Jason, man, thank you so much for your time today. We'll share the links to all of that on the blog post and social media when we launch this out, bro.
Hey, I really appreciate you having me on.